All right. Hey, everyone. Thanks for joining us today on the Real Hickory Podcast. I'm your host, Mike Kelly, and today we have a very special guest, Lindsay Keisler, President and CEO of the Chamber of Catawba County. It's been a couple of years since we had Lindsay on the show, so we wanted to check in and see what's going on there. Lindsay, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Thanks for having me, Mike.
No problem. So, um, why don't we start out by just telling the audience a little bit about yourself and your history with the Chamber?
Sure. So I started with the chamber in 2010. So I've been doing this work, and it's truly a humbling privilege to be able to do the work that we do on behalf of the business community every day. But 2010, I joined the chamber team. I grew up in this community. I'd moved away, and I wanted to come back and make a difference and make an impact that's bigger than myself. And so I found I didn't realize that the passion for business and a passion for community could collide in actual professional career. And so I've been doing this ever since. I've served in various roles for the organization, and in 2017 was hired as the president and CEO. So um, so yeah, I live in this community. I've grew up in this community, and now I have the privilege of working alongside of incredible business leaders and also community leaders to chart the course for the future of our community. So it's truly a privilege to get to do this work.
Well, I think our area is privileged to have you in this role because I think, the chamber has always been a big part of our area. And, your predecessors, I think, did a really, really good job, but I think you've kind of taken it to a whole different level. And so we're just really lucky to have you. And, I know you don't really like people shoveling compliments at you, but you really have done a great job for our area, and we really appreciate it.
Thank you, Mike. Thank you. And for your listeners, just so that they know, Mike has actually served on the chamber board. He's also been an active volunteer. So, Mike, thank you for uh, for your leadership in our community, and not only as a entrepreneur and founding your company and investing in that way, but you've also stepped outside of your traditional role to lead in other areas to push our community forward. So thank you for that.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, why should a local business join the chamber? I know this is probably, I when I run into people that have a business and I ask if they're members, and most people in our area, I feel like a lot of businesses are, but I've run into people and they're like, "Oh, I thought about it and never really did." But why would somebody want to join the chamber?
Yeah, great question. So um, we have 800 what we call shareholders and investors that partner with the Chamber of Catawba County in order to address the most critical issues impacting business. So you as a business owner have many things that you have immediate control, a direct control over. You can control who you hire. You can control your products, your services, your customer service excellence. You can control where your business is located. You can control your customer experience. There are many things that you have immediate control over as a business owner, but there are certain things that you have very limited control or no control at all over, but directly impact your ability to be successful both now and long term. And so that is the area where the chamber, that's the sweet spot that we work within. So we try to be that entity that is the convener, the champion, and the connector for the business community. So the work that we do, truthfully, impacts you regardless if you decide to join or invest in the work of the organization. But we're much stronger and more influential if a business leader deems it their decision to join or align with the organization. So I like to point the fact out that truly the work that we do impacts all business, but there are 800 who choose to invest and see that work as valuable and essential for their business operations and their business success now in the future. And they do that with their time. They also do it with their treasure, which we're incredibly grateful for, and we're better off because of their partnership. So there's several other things and benefits that you can utilize the chamber to impact your business tangibly from a return on investment. But I always like to point out the ROI. The true ROI is return on impact. So it's ensuring that businesses can be more successful today, but also into the future.
Awesome. And so if somebody's starting a business, my understanding is you guys have a new initiative coming out. So for a program for people that are looking to start a business or just kind of get going. And I think this is an amazing piece, because I felt like when I first started my business, I felt like the chamber was a really important partner with us to help us kind of get started. You know, we started our company right when you joined the chamber. We started our company in 2010. And I remember, having a ribbon cutting at our office, and, kind of growing up, I feel like I kind of grew up along with everybody, and being a part of the chamber and all the people that are there, other people that are involved, were really, really helpful in helping us kind of get started. What programs do you guys have in place now, though? Because it looks like you're really looking to take that to another level. What do you have in place for people looking to start a business?
Yeah, so Mike, this is a great example of where we identify problems or critical issues that are impacting people's ability to either start or grow a business, and we inject solutions. So this example, you're referring to something that we're calling Startup Catawba County, a digital toolkit. And we learned by talking with several entrepreneurs that had started businesses and experienced some complications along the way. And we also learned by talking with our municipal leaders, as well as our county leadership, and particularly those that are in the planning departments, that they too had been discouraged when they were speaking with business owners that may have had some complications through the process. So good news is our local government partners want businesses to be able to open, and they want that process to be smooth, right? Sometimes there's the thought that, oh, the government's just trying to throw red tape. No, local government wants new businesses to open their doors because that allows them to have a new business partner in the community to create jobs, but also they benefit from the additional tax base. So the same part, business owner, you have, entrepreneur, you have this dream that you want to make reality, but you don't necessarily know the questions to ask. You don't know the process that you have to go through from a governmental step and a legality step to be able to secure your certificate of occupancy. So that's where we came in. We said, all right, we see problems on each side. How can we inject a solution? So this digital toolkit is meant to be a comprehensive step-by-step guide that leads someone from truly this writing a business plan and connecting them with local resources like the Small Business Center at CBCC or the Small Business Technology and Development Center, helping them file their proper business name through the Secretary of State, all of those processes that you have to go through also zoning and permitting, as well as any change of use process to all the way to the end to gaining your certificate of occupancy. So this guide will be housed on the Chamber's website. Also, all the municipalities in the county will be linking out to it. We want to make sure that this gets in the hands of those end users, so those that are looking to start a business, but also those that are realtors, commercial realtors, or property owners, or rental management or property management companies, or building owners, so that we can hopefully be that intermediary kind of step in order to provide some more information so that those complications are minimized and individuals are able to get into business faster and more smoothly.
That's great. And I'm just from personal experience, I just know, like, you don't know you don't know what you don't know until you get there. And
That's
so
right.
sometimes it's, you think you're with good intention trying to do something and start a business or change your business in some way, shape, or form, and then you hit a roadblock, and it can be difficult. So having a resource like that, I wish it was there when I started, but I definitely think it's going to be great for everybody else going forward, and something that people can use. And like you said, just a really good way for us to have that tool to share when we know we have a client that's looking to do something. We know we can point them in the right direction, and know that, by doing that, they're going to look back at us, as agents even, like, hey, I'm thinking of starting a business. Well, make sure you go here. And then that adds to our credibility to be able to give them a really good tool to use. And so, that's
My
really great.
Yeah, so something to add there, Mike, your point on you don't know what you don't know, that was the number one issue that I heard. I mean, the governmental process is what it is. There are certain laws and regulations that are required from the state level that have to be enforced for personal safety, safety of customers, and there are various other, land use planning. So, however, that the where the often where the hiccups or the complications happen is truly that communication, truly that part where you've never done it before. Starting a business, there's a lot of risk, and there could be some fear or anxiety. It could seem daunting. So this guide is supposed to provide a peace of mind, also give you a bird's eye view, help you understand the process before you jump in, and just serve as a resource that you can lean on. And then too, throughout the guide also includes our contact information. So, allow the chamber to be your ombudsman or your liaison, if you will, to help, handhold you through the process.
Definitely great idea. And, looking forward to being able to share that. So that's going to be awesome. What's the easiest way for people to get involved in networking with other chamber partners?
Yeah, thank you for asking that. Connectivity, engaging with the business community is truly essential. I think all of us going through, the last 3-4 years recognize the value of community and the value of those personal connections, and having a group of individuals that can be a sounding board, that can be a word of encouragement, that can provide connectivity to resources that are essential for you to be able to either sharpen your saw as a business owner in certain aspects of running the actual physical entity, or simply to learn a new idea or a best practice. So I always recommend, I know time is limited, and it's such a precious asset and resource for particularly those that are solopreneurs, but it truly is essential, and you can get so much value out of these connections. So we at the Chamber, we host various connections opportunities, from larger scale events and programs like our Women's Leadership Conference that's coming up, or our annual golf classic, or monthly, smaller, more monthly connections events like First Friday Morning Brew. On average, we have over 100 business leaders that will come together and practice net giving. And that's an interesting term that we really adopted several years back, that enforces, or I guess encourages you to come to the event with asking, what can I do for you versus what can you do for me? So creating that culture of adding value to one another and showing up for one another. And then we have more weekly informal opportunities, such as our leads exchange groups, where you can get involved on a meeting casually with other handful of other business leaders to grow relationships with the ultimate goal of passing referrals and recommendations back and forth. So several, countless different ways to plug in, but those are some of the ones that come top of mind.
No, definitely. I've credited, I've been part of a Friday morning leads group. We meet at 8 o'clock at the chamber every Friday, and we are looking for some new members to our group there. So if anybody has interest in that, feel free to reach out to Lindsay at the chamber, or I guess who would be the point person for that if somebody's interested in. I mean, you can reach out to me even,
Yeah,
since I'm
yeah.
part of the group. So, but that's been a great resource for me as a business owner, being part of that group for all this time, and sharing leads and ideas, and eventually with business with each other. I think if you think you're going to join a leads group and think that you're going to just get business from it just like that, it's probably not necessarily, although it has happened quite a few times where, we have a new member and there's a need in that group or whatever, but it's a long-term thing.
Mhm.
But those long-term relationships are lasting relationships and will really help grow your business and sustain it. So, it's
Mike, and that right there is truly the definition of net giving, is that long term, fostering those long term quality relationships where you can help someone else achieve what they're trying to achieve. And 9 times out of 10, what happens? It comes back, right? They
always,
remember that, and it comes back even twofold.
definitely. What does the chamber do, or how do they get involved with advocating for their partners when it comes to legislation and local government? I know we talked a little bit about starting a business, but as time goes on, there's a lot of things that are happening in our political world today. And what kind of things does the chamber do to try and uh, help business along those lines?
Yeah. So earlier I referred to those issues that have a direct impact on your ability to be successful as a business owner, but you have limited control over, right? So you're talking about government regulation, and policy, public policy. And that is definitely an area, strategic priority of this organization is to be the lead advocate for business, business interests and needs, um, when it comes to public policy on the local, state, and also the federal level. So actually in 2021, our board made this, set that vision. We've always been the voice for business. We've always advocated and stood in the gap when it came to legislative issues that were impacting business, but we didn't have a person that was an expert on our team that can truly run and even turn the dial up so that we can be that lead advocate. And in 2021, we brought Brian Francis on our team. He's the principal of Lumen Strategies, but serves as our fractional advocacy director. And so he leads alongside of myself, a group of business and community leaders that we call, that make up our advocacy task force. These individuals run businesses of all sizes and sectors across our geography and in Catawba County, and they are tuned in to those issues. And so we discuss that from either workforce development or smart taxation or responsible regulation. We discuss these various issues and then make a recommendation to our chamber board to adopt specific legislative priorities each year. So that process occurs typically in the first quarter. And then what we do with those legislative priorities is we communicate them. We communicate them to all of our elected leadership on all levels, particularly those issues that pertain, whether it's local government, we communicate those issues, or whether it's this, with the North Carolina General Assembly, or even our congressmen or senators that represent us. And so then we provide regular updates to our partners about what's going on in Raleigh and Washington, what's going on in the county level or the city level, of things that are truly going to impact their business. And then we stand in the gap when we need to. So, example, this week we hosted Congressman Patrick McHenry for an event this past Wednesday. He gave a federal legislative update. Got to have one-on-one conversations with various business leaders. And so the other aspect is we try to also provide that access. So we communicate with them, but we also want to give business leaders here locally the opportunity to communicate directly with those that elect them, or that we elect, so that they can hear firsthand from the job creators in this community on how that they can be most beneficial when they're writing and creating policy and law that impacts business.
Excellent. And definitely, we definitely appreciate that new aspect, because I think it just has given our membership or partners a lot more access to that side of business. Any events that you have coming up that you'd like to make people aware of? I know the Women's Leadership Conference, I think, is a big one that you guys put on every year. That's always a big hit. Is it my understanding is that event already sold out?
It's already sold out.
Wow.
So is our golf tournament that's coming up later this month. So we've got two large events coming up, both of which are sold out. So I hate to say, learn about our Women's Leadership Conference, but sorry, you can't attend. But I will go back to those more regular monthly, weekly type opportunities to lean in. First Friday Morning Brew occurs on the first Friday of every month. If you are a business owner, you're not yet a partner of the chamber, but you would love to further engage with other business and community members, reach out, and I'd love to have you as my guest. I'm sure Mike will also host you as his guest. And even if you're interested in a leads exchange group, as I mentioned earlier, we can certainly host you for that. Something else that we, another program of the chamber that just something I'd like to mention is our Leadership Catawba program. We kicked off our 49th cohort. We had our first program day just this week, and we have 36 leaders that are trying to saturate themselves in everything that impacts in our local economy. And yesterday, the theme of their program month was reinventing community. So they got to learn all about how local government, also private investment, is truly crafting the future of our community. So that's another program that comes around once a year in the April-May timeframe. If that's something, if you want to take a deep dive into our community and discover how you can plug in and use your influence to make this community better, I'd encourage you to look at Leadership Catawba as well.
Yeah, it's a great program. We had a couple of our agents have been through that program, and I've had the privilege of being able to present a couple times, and it's just really, really great program that the chamber puts on, and the people that come out of that definitely are what's the word I'm looking for? Just really more prepared to be a real part of the community and kind of know what makes Catawba County tick. So really great program. Is there anything that you would like to discuss that we did not get to cover?
You know, I think sharing a couple more examples of, those particular issues that you aren't directly have control over, but that impact you directly, our strategic priorities um, fall within that space. And, we've talked about advocacy, we talked about connectivity, but something, another one of those issues would be talent recruitment and retention and development. So we're doing a lot of work around workforce development and ensuring that companies have the ability to attract and retain uh, a workforce that has the skills that are necessary for jobs today, but also jobs in the future. So we work very closely in partnership with Catawba Valley Community College, our other higher ed institutions like Lenore Ryan University or App State University that are here locally to make sure we've got pathways that align with business needs in the community. So we do a lot of work and also a lot of work in partnership with other great entities like the Catawba County Economic Development Corporation. So, having quality talent is essential for business success, but having a pool of talent that is qualified with the skills, that's where businesses have that limited control. So we're working really hard on behalf of businesses to ensure that they have the ability to recruit the best talent.
Oh, that's great. What's your favorite part about living in our area?
So, Mike, I'm a mom of two young little guys, and I guess boy mom through and through, right? So you'll find us, when I'm not here, you'll often find us outside somewhere. I mean, we are so blessed to have so many outdoor amenities, whether it's a vibrant downtown to walk around in or ride your bike through, or whether it's a park to play in, or a lake to boat on, or a hiking trail to hike on, a mountaintop that's close by that we can, sit and have a picnic, a kayak to get in to paddle around. That's what I love. I think our community has so much to offer when it comes to exploring spaces and exploring just the beauty of the foothills of North Carolina.
No, I agree. I second that definitely. It's just amazing how many options that we have and how the leaders in our individual the counties that surround us and the cities that we're part of have all really leaned into that and realized what great resources that we have and to try and take advantage of that with all the development that's going on in all the different downtowns, this city walk and river walk for Hickory, the parks that they're doing in the eastern part of the county. It's just amazing. Like I said, just kind of how they've kind of leaned into all that. And, I thought this, we moved here in 2005 and thought it was amazing. And it's just gotten better over time, exponentially. So it's just been great. And hopefully it keeps going.
I agree, Mike. It is. I heard someone say this week, everybody wants to be on a winning team. Everybody wants to be on a winning team. I mean, I thought that was profound as I was thinking about community development and economic development. We have a lot to be proud of. We have a lot of amazing things that are going on right now. From a commercial development perspective, from a quality of place perspective or place making perspective, even residential development. And I know that we need more of that, Mike,
Yeah.
so that your team can have more inventory to sell. But business is good in Catawba County, and the quality of living is, I would even say, arguably better. And so it is a great time to be here in this community, especially as we continue to progress and grow in a smart way.
Definitely. So let me change it up just a little bit as we kind of wrap up here. But do you have any questions for me since I'm in real estate? I like to always ask this question at the end. And sometimes people are like, no, I don't have anything, but I always still like to ask the question. So any questions for me about the market?
All right, so I do have something.
Uh-oh.
I hear I hear a lot, right? When I'm out in the community and with the, interest rate situation, with inventory situation, um, I guess you hear a lot of things that in my mind are more than likely not all the truth, right? So what do you hear? Like, what is the greatest misconception about the market right now, according to your perspective?
I feel like I still get a lot of people who think that the market is more that we're heading into something that's akin to like 2008 through 2012, like that horrible financial crisis time period. And I think there's a lot of people kind of like waiting in the wings for something to happen from that standpoint. But the market is just so completely different now than what it was then. Now, sales are down. The dollar amount of sales are actually up this year over last year. But our inventory is down so much that it's affected volume. So our sales volume across the market is like over 20% down over last year from a sales volume standpoint. However, pricing is really holding up because there's just nothing for us to sell. That there's so many people that had mortgages that were in the even like as low as like 2.75 and the 3.5%, like in that range. And so people that have an interest rate and that or maybe either bought something in the last few years or refinanced to that in the last few years struggle with trying to buy something at now we're close to 7% the way things are going. I mean, it's not an official quote. I recommend that you talk to a lender about like your situation, but they're hovering in the high sixes, low sevens right now. And it's hard for someone to give up and say I'm going to downsize or I'm going to do something and sell my house for that has a low interest rate and then buy something where I'm going to have to now take on a 30-year mortgage, for, close to 7%. And so I think it's really hard for consumers to kind of wrap their arms around that. The funny thing is it's actually the thing that's preserved the pricing, I think, has been the rise in interest rates and the fact that people haven't wanted to, maybe put a bunch of houses on the market as the economy nationwide has kind of softened a little bit in the last couple of years, but it's still hanging in there really strong. So I would say that the biggest misconception is, that maybe it's not a great time to sell. And I would say if you have some reason to sell and you don't have to buy something else, it's probably, I can't think of a better time to sell because you just don't have a lot of competition out there. And then even from a buying perspective, if you can find the right house, if we do hit a point where rates start to go down, that's going to draw more people into the market. And when that draws more people into the market, that's generally going to cause prices to rise, even if interest rates come down. So by being able to actually get the house that you want now and lock in and get that, and then as rates come down, you can always hopefully refinance. There's no guarantee, things are always ebb and flow. So, but chances are, the way things seem like they're kind of headed, the things that go up come down and vice versa. So, you get the house that you like, you refinance when rates come down, when everything's really busy and more competitive. And hopefully you'll feel really good about the price that you actually bought your house at time period. So I guess I just kind of want to get that out there and kind of shift people's mindsets a little bit, hopefully, to feeling like it's still okay to do something if you find the right house. Because I have a lot of people that we'll talk to and they're like, well, I really want to sell my house before I buy something. And then a lot of times the problem right now though is it's a lot harder to find the house than it is to sell your house. And so I kind of focus on the purchase side of it first. And then selling your house generally, as long as it's in good condition and priced well, that it's just going to go. I mean, like, the days on market are still, very low right now. And as long as get it priced properly and it's in good condition, it's just going to sell.
And there are a lot of buyers looking to purchase
Yeah, I
homes,
mean,
right? No
for
shortage of
multiple
buyers.
reasons. Yeah, because we have a lot of people. I mean, Hickory of our general market has, showed up on a whole bunch of lists for, affordable place to be, great place to live, great places to raise a family. And so we've ended up on a lot of national magazine lists and online lists. So there's a lot of people from the outside that want to come here. And then there's a lot of people that are here that are ready to move on to another phase of life, whether it's upsizing or downsizing. And so there's still just a lot of demand. So again, good time to be here. We're really happy that
Yeah.
we chose to live in this area, a long time ago, and really, really super excited about the prospects.
Well, thanks for that insight.
No problem. I think that's all I had. Is there anything else that you wanted to add before we wrapped?
I'm great. Just thank you for the opportunity to come on here and to talk about my life work and what I'm passionate about doing. The Chamber's website, if you want to know more, learn more about our strategic priorities, it's catawbachamber.org. If you'd like to contact me directly, my contact information is just one click off the homepage. Would love to engage with you, learn about your business goals and priorities. If you're out there and you own a business and you're not yet partnered with the chamber, I'd love to meet you and hear about what you're trying to do and create. And Mike, again, thank you for having me on your show and for your friendship and just your partnership. I'm grateful for both you and Kathleen and your whole team.
Appreciate that. Thanks so much. And thanks for coming to chat with us today. We're, again, lucky to have you as a local leader and appreciate all that you do for the community and for local business.
Thanks.
All right. Thanks.